Now, what's your job with the NRA?
My job has been mainly in the deliverance of medical services, both to the soldiers of NRA and to the population around our areas of operation.
And you run the medical facilities for the mobile brigade of the NRA?
That's right.
What sort of work does that entail?
It entails both the surgical procedures, treating casualties from gunshot wounds or shrapnels, and also treating the medical ailments like malaria, diarrheal diseases, hookworm infestations, and so on.
Uganda and Bayan
Basing on his current appearance, many Ugandans took to social media saying that Dr. Kizza Besigye should indeed be released because it is reported that he has been on hunger strike by his wife and other people, which report was denied that it is not true. Dr. Kizza Besigye has been eating and so is not on any kind of hunger strike, but the public did not like his appearance. He looked frail, he looked weak, and so they like, enough is enough, he has to be released basing on the fact that he was arrested on illegal grounds. You're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Lake. Thank you very much for clicking on this video. If you're my returning subscriber by now, you should be aware that I am so Ugandan from the northern part of Uganda. Because I'm always talking about Uganda, I always find myself speaking about Uganda. If you're new here, find yourself a seat and get yourself comfortable as we dive into today's topic. What triggered me to cover this story was the fact that many people came to social media, even those that don't support Dr. Kizza Besigye or have not supported the ideologies of Dr. Kizza Besigye, have come up to say that he should rest, he should see peace, he should find peace. Why is it that this guy doesn't seem to have peace? Why that every now and then arrest? I mean, some have gone as far as saying that the president of Uganda should leave his seat. And I was like, is it true that this guy has never seen peace before? But you see, there are a lot of controversies out there. There are people who are going to say that this is politics, and indeed they're continuing to play their politics on the nationals of Uganda. But there are people who are seeing that if we are not careful, we are going to lose another important personality in this country, and so he should be released. In the eyes of very many millennials and Gen Zs, we have painted a picture that Dr. Kizza Besigye has been on the taunted side. He has been on the side of affliction. He has always stood his grounds on opposing the ruling government. Let's take a dive on who Dr. Besigye really is. In the year 1956, a policeman in Rukungiri, which is a district in the western part of Uganda, or should I say southwestern part of Uganda, this policeman and his wife gave birth to a second child. That was Warren Kizza Besigye Chifefe. And most of us know that in Africa, we don't give birth to only one or two children. So Kizza Besigye was the second of 6 siblings. Nothing prime arose out of his childhood, so we can say that it was well spent until the year 1995, when he had to leave his home district for Kampala in a now and then prestigious university, Makerere University. He was to pursue a bachelor's degree in medicine, and so it's reported that in the year 1980 he graduated with a degree in human medicine. So if we are to track back a little, it is reported that in the year 1979 Dr. Kizza Besigye joined the National Resistance Movement / Army, and so by the time he had graduated, he was already into political affairs. Now, when we are to look at his career, shortly after he graduated, he joined Mulago National Hospital and worked there just briefly. And during that time, he had to go to exile in Kenya because his political life was in threat or posed a threat during that time. So while in Kenya, he briefly worked in Aga Khan Hospital, and then later on went to Kenyatta National Hospital shortly. I want to believe that during that time when he was in Kenya, things calmed down a bit, so he thought to himself that I think I am free, and hence his return to Uganda. They say East or West, home is the best. So in the year 1982, Dr. Kizza Besigye becomes a personal physician to Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. In my mind's eye, I can say that by the time someone becomes a personal doctor to you, it means that they've earned some bit of loyalty, they've earned credibility, they are transparent, they are diligent, they are hardworking. And indeed, we are seeing that this hard work is going to pay off once the National Resistance Movement Party takes over, and that was in 1986. Once the party took over as the ruling government of Uganda, that was the beginning of Dr. Kizza Besigye's appointments. He was first appointed the Minister of State Internal Affairs. Later, he became the Minister of State, Office of the President, and in 1991, he became the commanding officer of mechanized regiment in Masaka, which is in the greater central part of Uganda. In 1993, Dr. Kizza Besigye was appointed the Army's Chief of Logistics and Engineering. And so we are still seeing that the fruits of his hard work are paying him greatly, and he's enjoying the fruits of his labors just like any laborer. During that time, I am assuming that no complaint arose because it is in that season where it's like the second term for the national resistance movement to rule, and the ideologies are still at par. People are in agreement, and they say everything was working out until the year 1999. Dr. Kizza Besigye married Miss Winnie Byanyima, who was not only the member of parliament but was a very close and personal friend of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. In that same year, it is reported that Dr. Kizza Besigye released a critical document that would pose a threat to the ruling government, which was the NRM government. The document was titled An Insider's View of How the NRM Lost the Broad Base. That document was accusing the NRM of one-man dictatorship. By that time, you must realize that this regime was heading to the fourth. It was on its third term, heading to the fourth term. And if we backtrack a bit, when people are fighting for something, when they're fighting for a certain cause, there are going to be terms and conditions applied to that same umbrella. And I want to assume that maybe somehow he said that he would rule for only 1 or 2 terms or 3 terms. You might have seen the division or the formation of the Forum for Democratic Change. Because in that very year when the document was released, Dr. Kizza Besigye was arrested, and it is said that he brokered a deal with the government that he would be released only on the term and condition that he will make a public apology. In the year 2000, Dr. Besigye announced his intent to stand for the position of president under the party of Forum for Democratic Change. And so that meant that he had to resign from the UPDF, where he was now serving at that time as colonel. Between the year 2001 to 2016, where he stood his ground as the flag bearer of Forum for Democratic Change, all the public has been seeing, or what has been painted in the eyes of the public, has been nothing but affliction, pain, arrests, injuries. And this has made many Ugandans question the fact that could these people be playing politics behind our backs for someone who was once a personal doctor to the president of Uganda and is now fighting against the same person. But for 4 terms, he fights and he rallies and still fails. However, that did not stop him from being active in political affairs. It did not stop him from showing Ugandans where he stands. It didn't stop him from giving his views on the current government and any other political affairs of the nation. The president of the nation should allow that Dr. Kizza Besigye should be released. His video that was flying in and there has made many to tear. It has made many to feel so heartbroken and to question the integrity of the ruling government. When you watch the videos, while he was still being taken out of the dock, you could hear voices in the background saying that you will not die. It is nothing but a good thing that Ugandans are expressing their freedom of rights and expression in a good way by letting out or voicing out their opinions in this political matter or this matter at hand. And it's a very good thing that we are using different tools to extend these opinions further.